Okay, and we are live.
Awesome. Hello,
Yeah,
everybody. I am Chloe,
and I am Sandy.
and this is WordStitch.
This is WordStitch. My camera has me really far back today, and it has you really close, and we're
Oh,
disproportionate,
I
but that's all
could,
right.
I could do that. Does that help any?
That totally
This
helps.
is literally as far as I can move because that is my bed, and I have upset the cat.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I think that is maybe I should. Okay, wait. I think that fixes it. All right. So if you are
Okay.
joining us today, this is a virtual write-in, and all we do is chat a little, sort of like mutter on about writing stuff that mostly matters, and then we write for
We
like
do
90
our
minutes.
best to provide informative content about writing and publishing.
We do provide informative content, I
Yeah,
think.
we do until Sandy goes off on some ramble about not sure about what we do right there at the beginning, and that just sets us off on a bad foot.
Well, that was not random. It was a
And you
little
made that
random.
one real random.
Sorry. All right. So, Chloe, what are you working on today?
So I just finished a story that is up for pre-order already on Amazon. That was the one that I was working on last week, where I was getting that last little bit of editing done. I did get that little bit of editing done, and so it's going to be available for purchase for Thursday. It comes out. So today I am going to be working on this sequel to that one. Um, but I don't know my MC's name yet. So first I'm going to figure out what she is going to be named, and then I'm going to start writing that story.
Okay, nice. And I also just literally a minute ago or something finished a novella that is out for pre-order, and it's going to be available September 1st. So I'm going back to my story that I never finished writing.
The long game, the long project.
The long project. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the short ones are so nice sometimes. I really feel like you sometimes just need
Yeah.
that, you know? Like you need the sense of accomplishment, or at least I do.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this one, the one that I'm about to start, is going to actually be the short project that it's supposed to be, because the last project was supposed to be a short project and did not work out that way. So yeah, so now I'm like putting a lot of eggs into this short project basket for this month.
How long did the last project end up being?
It took me almost 2 months.
Oh, you mean in terms of time? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, it did run longer than it was supposed to, although I did get that down. I wanted it to be 25, and then it started to look like it was going to be 40, but then it ended at 33, so right in the middle there.
That's not bad.
That's
I
not
uh I do think I always
It's
think
not,
it's
but I don't care about the actual word count. I care about how long it takes me to do it.
yeah, yeah. No, I felt really good about mine. I made a goal of 20,000 words in like 9 days. I wrote 25 in the 9 days. It's the most productive I think I've ever been in 9
That's
days.
fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. This is probably why I'm rambling a little bit because my brain is a little
It
teeny
could
tiny
be.
bit fried. I should
Yeah.
probably have accounted for like a 10th day of nothing, like the 9-day novella plus.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I've been like worked to the gill right now with my like actual job, working 10 straight days. So, but the good news is that I thought we were closer to 405 when I put that up there, but it seems like the more I'm prepared, the more I screw it up. So it is 4:05 East Coast, 5 minutes after the hour. We are going to write for the next 10 minutes. It's our first word sprint. We did not come up with prompts for today because that is just what our day is. So we're going to write for the next 10 minutes. That'll take us to 15 after. Hopefully, you will actually get some writing done because Sandy and I will not be actually writing, but
Oh,
hoping to write in the future.
yeah, that might be true. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see you guys in 10. Are we back?
We are back. Yes, we are back.
Okay, so we're going to have a weird little session today because I am having character naming issues. And I have a very specific situation. This story is the third story in a long-running series. It is Shifter Paranormal Romance. So the characters are kind of weird, but so far they've all had normal names. The character that I am trying to come up with a name for right now, her actual name is Beverly, but she has a stage name, and she's kind of a I don't know, like I want to say Britney Spears, but that's like a really old example, and did not age well. I don't know what's current and trendy for like sweet and innocent, as Britney Spears once was on Mouseketeers, to date me some. But that's this character. She is a pop star, and she's also got like kind of an innocent vibe going on, but like doing the pop thing. And she is a shifter. She is a bird shifter. She also turns into a dragon. So her actual name is Beverly. Just a very normal name. A little dated on that name, and that's deliberate because I'm looking for like a fun and snazzy stage name for her. Her mother was a disco diva. So her mother's name was Roxy Paradise, because they are birds of paradise. Birds of paradise is an actual bird as well as a flower. If anybody in the viewing public wants to call me out on it, birds of paradise are actually birds. So that's what these characters are. Her mom was Roxy Paradise. Her real name was Donna. And so now I'm trying to come up with the name for the younger Paradise. But I am looking for a water name because she is a water dragon, and I'm struggling. And so things in this struggle have gotten real weird.
Wait.
Yes.
Okay, question though. So
Yeah.
her real name is Beverly Paradise?
No, Paradise is a stage name as well.
Okay, and is Paradise going to be something that she uses in her stage name?
Yes, it's going to be like a big point that she is the daughter of Roxy Paradise.
Okay.
And
it has...
Okay. Their real last name is Weezer, because if you know the roots to last names, you know that Weezer is a bastardization of the French last name Weisseau, which means bird.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yes, real names are Donna Weezer and Beverly Weezer. Very terrible names. So yeah, I need a first name. For somebody who is going to be known by the public by this name. Nobody is going to know that her real name is in fact Beverly Weezer. So
and you
right
kicked
now
out...
I'm having like serious issues. I've been having issues coming up with a name that is going to be a good contrast to Beverly Weezer, and also be like something that you would see as a celebrity name that also would be like, you know, hip and young. So right now I am debating between, and they're all terrible. Don't get me wrong, but it's been struggle bus here. I've been debating between Bayou and Monsoon and Brackish.
What does brackish mean?
Brackish. So I actually just know this because of my upbringing. Brackish is the water that is in waterways that are blended between seawater and freshwater. So like when you've got waterways that run like inland but like are around ocean, that water is normally a mix of salt water and fresh water. The correct term for that is brackish.
And how do you spell brackish?
So, you know what's funny is when I was looking this up, I saw two different spellings. I believe it is Brackish. I also saw it without that C, but Brackish.
You know, it's
CK is the proper spelling.
it's a great sounding name,
Brackish.
right? Like brackish is awesomely clever. It looks less clever. Do you know what I'm
That's
talking
fair.
about?
That's
Like
totally fair.
I feel like if I say it out loud, like brackish paradise, I'm like all into it. And if I see brackish paradise, I'm like, what?
No, what if you take that C out of it? Because that was how I initially saw it. I don't know why it was spelled wrong. I don't know. It could have been. I feel like I was actually on like a name site. And I don't know if that's why it was spelled that way. Um,
Um,
no.
I think if you take the C out, it's so it's not it's Kish that makes it look weird.
Okay, well, I can't do anything about that. So then we're to Bayou or
Well,
Monsoon.
wait. I mean, like people spell stuff weird all the time, right?
Um, Again, I don't want it to be like so flippin' crazy that it gets to the point where it's offensive. Because she is a non-white character, and I don't want to be that person who just like says, "Well, people who aren't white have real crazy names."
Dude, everybody has real crazy names these days. There's
Yeah, but like her boyfriend in this story is literally going to be a white guy named Roger.
I don't the name brackish is really growing on me. Like I feel really sad for you to get rid of that.
Okay, but I have to spell it. It's
But
still going to be on
but
paper.
maybe you should like ignore that problem. Maybe you should like write brackish and then like I don't know, like have set it up so that she has a reason to help somebody pronounce it. So that you
Wait,
don't
is
have
this something where you don't think you could pronounce it right if you saw it?
so it's a mental thing. I think when you see brackish, you either see brack and you're like, you named her after a brick, or you see ish and you're like, and you think, and yeah, you might think stuff like the show Blackish, especially if you're going to make race a big issue. And
No, I
I,
mean, I wasn't going to make that. Wow, you turned this racist.
you turned this into a race thing. You
I
were the one
wasn't
who
thinking
said,
that at all when I said bracket.
I'm just, I don't think about it at all when you say it. It's when I look at it for some reason that are just like, I don't know. I'm a little concerned about that. But I think that if you were to say, like if you have somebody have a hard time pronouncing her name, like do it breakish or something like that, and then have her say, no, brackish, as in, I don't know, whatever, then I feel like you teach the reader. Like
Or I name her Bayou and move on with life.
Bayou is even harder for people to pronounce.
Yeah, but it's an
I'm just
actual
saying.
word.
Bayou Paradise. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that also.
Or Monsoon Paradise.
Not Monsoon.
Okay.
Monsoon is
Bayou is my initial, which I was like really on the fence about because I don't know, bayous don't necessarily have good connotations. But yeah, I think her name's just gonna be Bayou Paradise.
Make It Bayou Paradise. And we are at another writing
We
sprint,
are.
so
We really are.
we are.
I'm gonna write about Bayou now though.
All right, you go do that.
Yeah, I'm going to. All right, so oh, and I guess see we're getting like ahead of ourselves now. I feel like I need to set up my clock on my computer now to actually give me the seconds. Like I feel like
Mm,
I've gotten so good at this, so on the spot with this that
next time. Next
yeah,
time.
that now I'm ahead of myself. Also, for a second there, I was like, "Oh God, my camera's been off the entire time." But then I remembered that it was just because I was share screening. Don't mind me. We make our own fun here. Okay. So we're gonna write for the next 25 minutes, and when we come back, hopefully we'll talk about something that applies to somebody other than me. Good luck, everybody.
Okay, we are back.
Yes.
Oh, you're back with your kitty cat.
Yeah. She's being real aggressive, and now she's gonna act like this is what she does. Like, she was like all up on me when I was trying to write, and I was like, okay, well, we can at least do this while I'm not writing. And then as soon as I moved even the slightest bit, she was like, what, I didn't want any of this. This on me.
Well, she's a cat, so she gets
Yeah.
like the prerogative, right? Like
Yeah.
this is all her. So like I was gonna write today, and then I opened up my Scrivener and looked at my outline and thought, oh my god, like my brain can't do this. So instead, I'm newslettering, and
That's fair.
yeah, newsletters take up so much damn time.
Yeah.
But I'm like really excited. This is the first time I'm going to be trying a freebie like promo for the young adult world. So it's like,
Yeah.
I guess
I'm
we'll see
interested
how it goes.
to see how it goes, because like it makes a lot of sense for me in romance, because romance readers just read anything.
Yeah, seriously.
So I am genuinely curious about how things go with YA, because I feel like YA readers are notoriously picky, but that could also just be the vocal minority.
No, I think you're right. I think YA readers are, because I think YA is so very much like romance is like, you know, like when you were like in high school or something, like there was this whole cool crowd, and like doing what other people did mattered, and like you could get judged for your actions, or like girls get slut shamed, or like they, you know, potentially get bullied, or they're just totally ignored or whatever. Okay, so and then you grow up and you get to like, you know, your 30s, and you're like, wow, I need romance. And you're no longer judgmental, you know, like you're at, forget this judgment, I'm just going to read what's fun. But YA is still back in judgment land. So
I think your theory is sound on that.
Yeah.
My question is, are most YA readers young adults?
Well, so they're not. Actually, I think more are adult, but they're still in like a teenage mindset, right? So like,
that's fair.
And if you think about it, adults who read YA are like really defensive about it, right? Because we feel like we're made fun of all the time. So this is like no, seriously, my genre counts, you know? Because we have a bad rep for like Twilight and everything.
I like how you say that to a romance writer.
No, it's and
I realize that you're also a romance writer, but the irony of saying that YA gets such a bad rap.
No, but it does, right? And it had like that, and it's not the same as romance, because romance gets,
it's a different kind of bad rap.
It is. Like, I think the romance writers expect it, right? Like you write romance, and when you tell somebody you write romance, you say it as like a joke, right? Even though you take your craft seriously, because you know that like the baseline that you start from is, oh, romance is all trash. But like,
yeah, just put it out there. I say I write smut.
Yeah, okay.
Smut.
So, but YA is not smut, right? It's like actually, and those books are deep, and there's usually many characters, and they're not like, I mean, personally, I think YA is, you know, like it's the only literature field where like you have to cover issues of deep, horrible despair.
Yeah.
But like for the book to be good, you also have to help the characters solve the problems and end it on a note of hope. So like you basically lay out the world's worst problems, and then create a character who's like complex enough to feel sad about those things, but also like face them head on, and then you have to figure out how to solve them. No adults do this. Like, adults just give up. They're like, forget this, the world's just despair. But in YA, you got to do way more. Okay, so we are so defensive, you know? I might mean the royal me right now. I don't know.
No, it's okay. It's just, again, from like the outsider perspective looking in. It's just, you know what, when you say it like that, what it reminds me of is the fact that like every single one of those actors who were cast for Beverly Hills 90210 were in their 20s at the earliest. Like there was that one chick who was actually like 30, I believe, when she was cast to play a high schooler. And that's what you sound like. And that's also how YA feels to me.
Yeah.
That the part of this 15-year-old is played by this 27-year-old. That's how I felt very much, not even with the actual books for Twilight, which like I started reading it and was like, this character is like an empty husk of a human being. But like in the portrayal by Kristen Stewart, and this is not even like mocking Kristen Stewart at all, but actually like the script writing of it, like they literally made her a 27-year-old. But
Yeah.
playing a 16 or however old she was. Um,
Yeah.
world weary teenager.
It is. It is
And that's
true.
something that's always bothered me about the genre. And I'm sorry that I've like taken us off on a weird tangent because I feel like this was my fault this time.
That's fine.
But I do like I've always had that bit of an issue with YA. Like it's one of those things that like so I know we've talked about a bunch of these series many times, but like one thing that I do appreciate about dystopian YA is that there's a reason for that.
Like there's a reason for the dystopia.
No. In dystopian YA, there's a reason that they act like 27-year-olds.
Oh yeah, because all the adults
Yeah.
are gone.
Well, or like whatever it is, like even if it's, or you know, if it's something that took place like 100 years ago, then absolutely have that 17-year-old be worried about like, is she gonna die during this current childbirth that she is actively in?
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things that like unique to like the modern time. It's just really weird for me to see teens depicted that way.
Yeah, actually, I mean, there's so this is the other problem, right? Is that like YA has produced a ton of really impressive stuff. Like when I was querying for the book for Sassafras, right? Like I was writing these letters based on Twilight. Like I was so upset at what had happened in like Divergent, The Hunger Games, and Twilight.
Yeah.
I'm querying as if like there have been no amazing heroes since then, and some things have gone wrong, but there are some really damn good books out
Yeah.
there now. And so you're actually competing in a pretty intense field. And like some of it is contemporary and the kids act like kids. I just read a great one called They Both Die in the End. And it's like
I'm
wonderful.
okay with that as a title. I'll be honest. I'm okay with that as a
It
title.
was an amazing title. Like
Yeah.
spoiler alert, they both die in the
Do
end.
they actually both die at the end?
Yeah, they do.
Nice. I like it. Is it like I feel like this is like going way into spoiler territory then, but are they like in the hospital? Like is this are they dying of illness or is it like
No,
a suicide or is
it's
it
it's
just
like
like a
the
random car accident? Is this like a Thelma and Louise ending?
okay. So in the setting, like we're in the future, and people can now predict, or there's like this thing called Deathcast that can now predict if
Oh,
it's your day to die. And
okay.
these two like otherwise healthy boys both get their Deathcast warning, and
I
then
like it.
and they meet up
Yeah,
through this like last friend app that like hooks up people who are going to be dying so they don't have to like mourn all day with their actual friends. um and it's
yeah.
their adventure, but that's like the blurb. So you
I
start
love
off the
it.
book. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it is
Yeah.
almost 5 o'clock, so
And also, like, remember when I said at the beginning that we needed to be talking about like helpful stuff? Here we are, just talking about random crap.
I
So
think this is totally
good
helpful.
news is that we are about to write and get off of random crap for a little while, so we can actually do our 1K 30 minute. Oh hey, look at that! I never like set my dang timer. This is what it looks like after it's all over and done with. But we're gonna write for 30 minutes. You can go ahead and start now.
Okay, we are back.
Woo.
Yeah. So did you get like 30K done now that you're actually writing again?
No, I wrote like 200 words.
Well, you're getting into it again. Yeah. My newsletters are looking awesome.
I couldn't focus. It was just one of those things. My focus was not there today. I've been running to the ground lately, so it'll come back.
I actually think it's really important to every now and then take a day off.
Yeah.
Not that you ever, I don't know about you, but to me, like, I never take a day off of writing. There's really no day where I'm not doing something.
Right. Something with the job. Whether it's
Yes.
actually like writing or not, but the actual like job of being a writer.
Yeah, the business of being a writer, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but there are days like today I did so much drafting and editing and proofreading and such over the last few days. My mind just won't do it. It's not there.
Yeah.
But I meant to mention this. So I don't know how my novella will go. But this is the first time that my husband has been interested enough in the story that I was
Oh.
able to read the whole thing to him.
Oh, that's
Oh,
nice.
yeah, yeah, it totally is nice. With my romances, he's always like, nah. And like
Yeah.
with like the more fantasy version, like one I worked for 5 years on instead of like
Yeah.
9 days on, um, that one, I don't know if he'll ever actually read that whole thing. But this one, he let me read
Well, and
the
you said there
entire
was
thing.
also an issue with the mystery that you've been piecing
Yeah.
together,
Yeah. I don't know if he'll,
which
I
is
don't know if
actually like in a subject that is totally his jam.
he might be cool with that one. I'm not sure. He was critical of the first scene, so I don't know if I want him to read it now. Malcolm, I'm so sorry if you're watching. I love you. But I think no, it's like I don't know about you, but I'm really torn on whether my family should be supportive by reading my stuff. And like my mom will usually read whatever because she's my mom and she's good
Yeah.
like that. But my husband does not read the kind of stuff I write. Like he's not a YA reader. He's not a romance reader. He reads like Master and Commander
Mhm.
and that's not an erotic book in his world. Like he reads, I don't know, books about space programs, real space programs, not immortal teenagers embarking on space adventures. So it's like
I'm having kind of an opposite issue. I don't know. I'm in this really weird situation where like I do have friends who read romance. None of them will read my romance.
what?
But I have friends who don't read romance who have bought mine, and I am so
That's so
confused.
confusing.
Like, I don't know if they're buying them just to like support me, but really, you don't have to do that because I'm getting $2 off of that purchase. Like, you're really not helping me that much.
No, dude, that's
Just let
totally
me at
helpful.
20 occasionally and be like, hey, good job. But yeah, so I don't know. It's really weird because I do have friends who read stuff that are absolutely like what I write, and they don't read mine. They're like, oh, I'll read it eventually, and then they never do.
I think that it's so when I first like published Sassafras, I had all these like likes on Facebook, right? Like my gazillions of
Yes.
likes. Oh, people are so excited. And I thought, oh my gosh, like 100 people are gonna read this book.
Yes.
And like, I don't know, like 30 bought it and like 80 downloaded it for free. And a bunch of people totally missed it for free. And then, like, as far as people who read it go, it was pretty limited. And at first, I was really kind of like ticked off. And then I decided, like, I've got a million books on my shelves that I'm dying to read that I haven't had time
Yeah.
to yet. So, I mean, I think you have to view this as like there's a bazillion readers out there. and you are just looking for the ones that are going to see your cover and be like,
Right.
oh, I want that right now, right?
I also, like, on that thought, there's also the fact that, like, this is real weird, and it's going to sound like me, like, looking that gift horse in the mouth. I don't really want my friends buying my stuff if they're not going to read it. I want actual readers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not writing, again, I'm not writing for those $2. I'm writing to hopefully make a career out of it, and I'll never get a career out of my friends buying my books.
Well, that's the bigger point, right? It's not that you
Yeah.
don't want your friends to buy your books. It's really nice when people support you like that. It's that you don't want those to be the people you're relying on in any way.
That support is actually, like, so minimal. It's because it's not, if you buy it but you don't read it, like, there's not going to be any reviews from it. There's not going to be any word of mouth from it. You're not going to gain anything of it but that, like, $2 at a time. And it's literally just $2. Take me to lunch.
It's so true.
Take me to lunch, and then we'll, like, discuss things. And that, like, my buddy Sarah, and Chris, a few of my friends.
Yeah.
Really, though, they are the best supporters. Every single person in my life who I have said, don't hate me for this, and you can back out at any time, but let me tell you the plot of these 2 stories because I need help with the third plot. And I feel like you're a good source of that information. My coworkers who, like, the one who stood next to me all day Saturday trying to figure out this character's name, and we never figured it out. But, like, that's
huge.
I need.
Yeah.
Poor Ken answering every penis question I have.
Oh my gosh.
Chris showing me how to give proper hand jobs.
No. Okay, we need to take this back to support of friends. I totally agree with you. I think that it is. If I ever
have to give a speech, that's going to be it. Chris, thank you for teaching me how to give a proper hand job.
You know what's going to happen? Like 10 years from now, we'll get to do this, like, on a stage or something. And I'm going to be trying to talk about, like, going to lunch with your friends and how, like, supportive that is. And you're going to be like, and I want to thank Chris.
Yeah.
But no, you are totally right. It is huge.
I don't know if you saw on Vanessa's group on the Writing Tribe about people talking about going to con, and a couple of them said that they were going to be panelists, and just picturing myself as a panelist. Wow. If you ask your gay friends how to give hand jobs, it's great.
That's, oh dear. Oh man.
Nice eye ring to the table.
But it is so true that when somebody will, like, talk out that plot with you, right? Or, like, give you a critical piece of information that you need.
Yes.
Or I have to admit, usually for me, this is stuff like, can you tell me how an airplane works? But whatever.
For me, it's a lot of, like, I don't read enough fantasy or sci-fi to, like, know where to take this plot, but I'm sure that there's a trope that I just don't know.
And if you find it.
Yeah, and that was, like, with the current story where Sarah, she didn't say it this way, but, like, what she described to me, I was like, oh, you mean like that episode of Black Mirror? And she's like, yeah, I didn't want to say it that way, but yes, just do that episode of Black Mirror. So that's what I need. But, like, anything, Ken has explained to me how to, like, sabotage a diesel engine before. Like,
see? So supportive.
Yeah. And, like, it's so much better than Googling. I'm sorry. Like, Googling is great, but it is so much better having that person. We have bounced all over the damn place today, and I feel like I'm to blame for that, but that's okay.
No, I think this is a joint effort. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, like, I think that is, like, really the best way that you can help. Or, again, like, recommending the novels to your friends who read that genre. Do you have friends who read smut? You should recommend my smut to them, especially if they're into shifters.
I totally recommend your smut.
Because it's, like, everybody's shame right now. But, like, if you're into shifters, you should check me out and maybe tell your friends.
Finding that person who will confess something like, I'm into shifter erotica right now is, like, a little tough, but I will for sure. I actually, yeah.
It's like a handful of people I know who will admit to me that they read Black Dagger Brotherhood.
I have got to read that series.
You'll read it. It's terrible. I mean, it's amazing. Like she's a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah.
She's like top of the industry on these books. I think they're terrible. That's just my opinion. I don't know. But you know that I write very serious characters, so it's probably literally the fact that like I don't write the right stuff for the genre. She's probably like 100% exactly what every single person who reads that genre wants. But yeah, there's a handful of friends who are like, oh yes, I know this series when I go on my rant about the dumbest character names ever. It's hard to find those pockets when, like you were talking about, with people being embarrassed about YA.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly like a whole other level of embarrassed when you're talking about
erotica.
Yeah, stuff that's literally sex and the most graphic, like cameras at all angles.
Oh, well, YA totally has sex. Oh, this is actually funny. I have to tell you this. So there is sex in my book. It's like implied sex. It's like a line, like
in your YA.
Yes,
because you also have romance, in which case it should not be implied sex.
Yeah. That's not implied sex, but in the YA. I had like, I don't know, there's this like one line where I talk about how like they make it a late night that extends into the morning. I thought that was obviously sex. I mean, they're like 26 at that point. He's like, this is the thing. My husband completely missed it.
Did you read all of Twilight? Did you read that series?
I did, yes.
So how, obviously there is sex in there because they get married and they go on a honeymoon and then have vampire baby. Mm-hmm. How was it portrayed there?
Well, let me just
pull
out.
I really didn't want it to go to this, and I apologize.
I don't know. I think it's actually like it's pretty. It's sex, but like Twilight. One of the big critiques is that like Edward makes Bella wait until they get married, and then basically she gets punished for it, right? Like she gets like pregnant and then dies essentially.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant literally. I was like, wait, I thought it was 50 Shades was the fanfic, not vice versa. Okay, not that kind of punishment. I write smut. When I think of punishment, I think of whips and chains. Keep going.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's
her karmically punished.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's disturbing, right? Like it becomes really depressing. So they spend a lot of time.
You mean it's disturbing as in what is this message that you're giving to kids that can be disturbing? Yes.
Yeah, but I mean there is actually sex, and I suppose that with something like that, then the justification is she built it up or something. But you have to remember those books now were published a decade ago or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I guess now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of the YA, it's been quite a while since I read YA last, but there was sex in them, but again, it was either that dystopian setting,
mm-hmm.
or for some reason the character was older than they actually were. There was one where they were recycled souls basically, so he's this immortal and she is also an immortal and she's just in a 17-year-old body or whatever.
Justification.
Well, right. And also I actually feel I remember that she was an orphan, but also she was at this art school. She might have actually been, I almost feel she was college age in that one. But there's always something going on where even if they're teenagers, they're still adults for some other de facto reason.
Yeah.
Literally, they've just done a military siege or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they're desperate. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, but we need to write, so we got to
Well,
go back
holy
to
crap, it
that.
is that time.
I know.
Oh, that was a weird tangent that we just went on.
Sorry.
We'll start after like Dragon Con is next weekend, and after Dragon Con, I'm gonna really do my best to like get us back on track where we're actually like
Doing some
and
topics.
everything.
Sure.
Yes. But in the meantime, let's just do this 10 and call it a day.
Okay, we are back.
We are, and we're almost leaving.
Yeah. So we should talk about Dragon Con, right? Because some people.
Should we?
I think we should. I think we should at least talk about whether or not we're going to be doing this next week because it's
Oh,
Labor Day, right?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Con is not going to be a conflict.
Okay.
I am not. This is more of an explanation to people in general who are familiar with conventions than to Sandy specifically. Their Monday lineup is weak, and I am commuting this year because of that little 2-month trip that I just took. So I'm not staying down at the convention. So I'm just not going to go down on Monday. It's just a bunch of hassle for something that I'm not super excited about. I'm
Oh.
excited about the rest of con. But Friday is going to be my killer day, and then every day it fizzles out a little bit more until I am leaving Sunday at like 7 and not going back.
Okay, so then we probably can still do this on Monday, but it is Labor Day, so that may
It
be up
is.
in the air if I end up having to be somewhere, like
Okay.
eating hot dogs and drinking, basically. I hope that all of you, if you're going to Dragon Con, have a great time. I'm not. I'm not local to it anymore. Although I've never been, so.
If you want to like bail on Labor Day, you can always like crash at my place and go to Dragon Con with me.
Is it that impressive?
I mean, like there's like a mini writers convention inside the convention.
This is
Vanessa is
true.
hosting panels.
This is true. She does love her panels.
Yeah. I have a house
Mm.
all to myself because Ken is going to be staying at Dragon Con.
Really?
Yeah.
This is a temptation. I will think
Yeah.
about it. All
Think about
right. Okay, folks. So otherwise, that's our write-in for today.
Yeah.
So everybody have a good writing week, and we'll see you in a week, hopefully.
Yes. Have a good week. Enjoy your Labor Day. Be safe and get more words in than I'm going to. I'm going to do my best, though. I just know it's going to be a week for me. Week from you. Woo! Okay. See you guys later.
Bye.